Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing this 32-inch 4K LG monitor. Stick around. So let's start by going over the spec list on this guy. It is this model is the 32UL500W. There are some differences, so if you get the UN versus the UL, I think this has more brightness or the other has more brightness. One has different ports available, things like that. But this is going to basically describe any monitor like this one. This is a VA monitor with a 4 millisecond response time on it. Refresh rate is at 60 Hertz. That means it'll do up to 60 frames per second when you're gaming. For those gaming guys that are here for the high-speed frame rate, this guy may not be the best option for you, but it is a solid gaming monitor. This monitor does run a 4K at HDR10 colors, so it is fantastic colors, and that's where it's come in most handy for me. Myself, I am a video editor and photo editor, so I find that having a display that can display the colors correctly and that when they come out on the other end, they look the same, that is super valuable, and this monitor is fantastic at that. Fantastic colors. The brightness is impressive on this guy. This monitor is 300 nits, which is fairly bright. I find that once the sun has gone down or later in the day, I definitely get eye fatigue. My next pair of glasses will definitely have a blue light filter on them, just because I find myself after probably 6 to 8 hours of sitting in front of this, I definitely feel some eye strain. This monitor does have some really fantastic viewing angles. Just to demonstrate, I actually have this monitor on an arm rather than the stock arm that it came with. But let's just turn this guy for you. Yeah, you can still see the picture all the way there, and like there is very little glare, which is a fantastic feature that this guy has. Look at that viewing angle. You can just come all the way. Come on, turn. You get the idea. Like, this is fantastic in the way of viewing angles. This has a 3000:1 contrast ratio, which means the blacks are super black and the whites are very bright, brilliant white. Now, talking about our ports on this guy, it does have 2 HDMI ports, a single display port, and a headphone out. Yes, that little black spot on the back is a headphone jack. However, I found that the speaker on this, which is a 5-watt speaker, is actually really good. If you move it away, the monitor away from a wall or something, it definitely doesn't sound as good. It somehow does rely on a back paneling. Where I put mine up against a curtain here that's blocking a window, it reflects the audio back, and the sound quality is fantastic. But if you do want to hook up headphones for gaming where you'll have a microphone, that's an option as well. That's built into this guy. I don't actually have the original monitor arm hooked up to this guy because I did put an extension arm. I'll link that in the description below, but this is the original monitor arm it came with. It is a 100 by 100 millimeter mount for your monitor. So if you're looking to buy a mount like this one here, you'll want to have a 100 by 100. This one does not fit perfectly, but as you can see in my previous video, I'll link it up in the corner here, this comes with spacers to be able to mount this even if it doesn't perfectly fit your monitor stand here. This guy does have a solid, it looks like metal, but it's actually mostly plastic, although this base here, this section here is metal, the interior structure, but the outside is still plastic to maintain lightness. This is a very light monitor. Shipping weight is listed at 21.6 pounds. However, the monitor alone is 11.7 pounds on its own, and this arm right here is rated for 22 pounds. And then you add on this guy and it's about 2 pounds of extra weight. So there is a lot of plastic here, but there definitely is metal where it counts. So it is a sturdy mount for the monitor on its own. And as for the last of the specs on this guy, it does come with AMD FreeSync, which does help with image tearing, which for those that may not be familiar with what that is where your image is sent in pieces to your monitor, and in a video game with high refresh rate where things are happening really quickly, you'll actually see a tear across the center of the page where things will be shifted. AMD FreeSync fixes all of that, as well as many other FreeSync styles, but this guy does have the AMD FreeSync. All right, that's going to be it for the specification section. Now we're going to start talking about my personal experience. I've had this for 6 months now, and I gotta say, it is fantastic. It's huge. It is absolutely huge. I know people online, they're saying like, oh, I've ordered 2 to do my work and da-da-da. That must be some serious work, because I find myself, if this monitor isn't absolutely on the opposite side of my desk from me, I have to move my head just to see the other side of the monitor. This thing is so big. 32 inch is a solid size monitor, and a lot of people have asked me, is this guy good for gaming as a TV? And there's a lot that goes into that. Number one, a TV is made to do a lot of things that a monitor isn't. A monitor is made to do things that a TV isn't. But the main thing you're going to notice is that this monitor doesn't come with a remote to turn it on and off. Doesn't have a volume switch, things like that. You do have to have a external power or volume controls, unless you want to have your own volume controls some other way. To control the volume, you do have to use this little dongle, this little switch at the bottom of the monitor, which is not convenient if you're playing on an Xbox and you need to turn down the volume real quick. You got to go into the menu settings and play with it. It's a hassle. So this is much more suited to be a monitor for a computer than it is for an Xbox. It will work, it will, absolutely. However, I don't necessarily recommend it unless you plan on leaving the volume at the same volume all the time, and you don't plan on changing things, because otherwise you have to count. It's like the 50s again, which most of us don't know what that is, but when you had the TV, you had to walk over to change the channel by turning a knob. This is going to be that same way, as opposed to having a remote. Honestly, if you have an Xbox, or even if you're on a computer, buying a TV screen might be more advantageous for those that are gaming on things like an Xbox or a PlayStation. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I found that the color quality is fantastic. As you can see by this picture slideshow I have running here, the image is amazing. It's almost like a green screen. You can just put me in here with the mountains. I'm skiing. It's really, really cool. When I mentioned the audio on this guy, I did kind of briefly mention that I do love the sound, and I have to say the speakers on this are fantastic. You can turn the volume all the way up and it gets loud, and you can turn the volume nice and down, and it's very well controllable. One thing I found very useful when having this monitor is having a way to turn up and down the volume outside of going into your settings and using that little scroll bar. I have a keyboard that I specifically found with this volume scroll wheel, which I have found to be immensely helpful to turn up and down volumes, because I watch a lot of YouTube, and not all videos are balanced at the same average volume. So having a scroll wheel to adjust the volume is extremely helpful. It is a good idea to keep an eye on the prices. I use Honey. They track prices on things, especially on Amazon, and this guy in the past 120 days has been as low as $289. I bought this when it was $320, but keep an eye out for those price drops. Right now it's at $349, so maybe not the best time to buy if you're buying it today, right here in end of July, but as you can see from this graph here, the price changes a lot. So keep an eye out, because that $289 is a fantastic deal if you can catch it when it's on sale. Overall, this monitor here is a fantastic monitor if you're looking for one. Watch out for those great deals. I'll link below to so you can download the Honey browser like I have, so you can track the prices as well. You can even put it on a drop list so that it will notify you when it is on sale. Overall, this is a really fantastic monitor. I highly recommend it. I'll have links to this as well as all of my other computer products that I use down in the description below. Those are Amazon affiliate links. As an Amazon affiliate, I do earn from qualifying purchases with no additional cost to you. So please use those links below to help support me and this channel. Let me know if you have any questions about this monitor or anything else in my build setup here, and I will see you guys in the next one.